6.10 is the custodial services contract. We've had no issues or concerns. They have had no turnover with, so we've been very pleased with ABC, and they've also invested in additional equipment and supplies. So we are recommending that we have one additional year with ABC Cleaning Services.
So I'm looking for a motion. Board of Trustees approve a one-year renewal of the custodial services contract with Absolute Best Cleaning Services, Inc., ABC Cleaning, extending the term of the contract to August 31st, 2015, and an annual rate of $720,000.
Second.
Discussion.
I have a problem with this.
Okay.
This has come up, this is a rolling yearly contract, and for that amount, I don't think the rationale for not going out to bid is strong enough to not go out to bid for this contract. How many years have they had this contract? 10. I really don't like it when we have contracts of over $500,000 not going to bid, and this has been continuous. We just all of a sudden give them another year's extension. The rationale for not going to bid, I'm sorry, I don't. The chance that we might not get someone competent, well, that means we have to put together a good bid, and in order to get a more representative group trying to get our contract to do what it is. And I also was wondering why we're doing the consortium on the electricity. Why aren't we doing the consortium, at least for advice on something like this? You know, other institutions, I'm sure, are faced with the same thing that we are.
I did talk with, I talked only with other community colleges. I didn't use the consortium because of them being universities. They have a lot of different types of facilities. So it's really completely different. I tried to talk to the other schools that were of like size, if there is such a thing, because facilities, it's really tough to measure that. But, and the background information I did put in for the board members to see, comparing to the other ones, they actually have employees and they're spending well over $1 million. And that doesn't even touch the supervisory and all the, other stuff. I think the other thing was, we've had 2 contracts recently. The one most recent that you're all aware with was the food service and the Children's Learning Center. And when you're stuck with the contract and then the people can't meet it, people are so hungry for business that they'll bid, and anybody can do a FOIA and find out what we're currently paying and then underbid. So it's tough. I understand, and I understand you're wanting to say it's a large contract and you want to go out for bid. If we had any kinds of problems like with the earlier one, we had some problems, so we said, no, we're not going to renew this, we'll go out for bid. But we have no problems. I mean,
But we won't know if somebody is out there that can do a better job for us, possibly at a better cost, even if they can get the amount. They'd have to bid. It's always whatever it comes in. But the thing is, if we don't go to bid, we won't know what's out there. And the fact that a lot of the employees live in our district, that's wonderful. And I would hope that if we had someone new, that the same thing would apply. But I'm really not comfortable with not going to bid on a contract this size. And every year I've been following this, I don't even know if this is $720,000. Is that what they've been getting from us every year? Without,
no, not always. It's been 720 and 7. It's been very close.
Has it been over that amount?
Yeah, it's been over. On the average, we're spending more than $60,000 per month for this contract. I'm not in support of it. I think that our role as trustees and being stewards of the public trust, I don't think we're being good stewards if we don't go out to bid. Our fiduciary responsibilities to get a competitive bid, have a rolling contract, and the justification it doesn't meet the smell test for me. I think it ought to go out to bid, and like Trustee Donahue said, the bid package needs to be strong and tight, and the expectations there. And if another lowest bidder doesn't meet that, then hopefully there's a clause in it. But I just think that
that doesn't disqualify our current, and I have no problem with the job they're doing. Right. That is not the issue. Right. And they have every right to put in a bid.
What I found out when talking to some of the presidents, and that's why they stay with what they have with employees, is because there's some of these very large chains, that will come in, and then they come in, and then what happens is you have a transient staff. They're because they're so large, they're all over, and you get new people, and so every day you're faced with, okay, no, that's not how we want it done, we have to, so it's a lot of time on us for showing and explaining, and then there's also higher opportunity for theft, is what that's what the folks that I've found.
I have to
So I don't
agree
have
with what
statistics
you're
on that.
saying, Dr. Winfrey. Me being in business myself, I'm going through this right now, my parents' business. It may not be as large as this college, but she's right. You bring in another company, employees say they want a job, but they don't want to do a job. And she's right about the theft that can take place. Yeah, you do bring up a good point that yes, maybe it should go out for bid, but it's the quality what you get in. If you already have a company in place and you're not having problems, then my suggestion is to stay with what you have. But if you go with someone that's gonna low bid, you're gonna have problems. Even though you may have a clause in there that may say if you don't do the work, we can discontinue the contract, you're gonna run into another problem, because it's gonna become a legal aspect. It's very difficult when you're trying to change hands, when you're definitely comfortable with the vendor that you already have in place. And if you haven't been there or experienced it, it's a nightmare.
But my thing is there a way we can see if the cost is justified? I mean, I'm down there on the ground floor. I love the ladies that are down there. I see them all the time. They're really good ladies. However, I was not aware that this was $60,000 a month because I'm looking at it from down to the bottom. Like, we're looking at student services and things for the students being cut, tuition being raised, and looking at this massive amount of money going to a place without at least considering, not saying that even if the bid goes out, we're definitely going to do, but it's good to see exactly. Yeah, I get that. It's good to at least know what's out there. So if there's a way that we can find and maybe make sure that the people that are bidding have the references that will back up the work instead of just don't take the bid at face value. But in the same breath, we have to make sure that the students are being taken care of, and this $60,000 a month is.
But there's different funds, if I'm correct on that, right?
I get that it's
Yeah.
different. I know it's different funds.
Can you enlighten us on this and all that together?
Like, we couldn't use this money for student stuff.
I definitely get that, but it still looks bad.
So what do you think the $60,000 covers? Is that if you had a more detailed expenditure list of what the $60,000 covers, does that help you?
Yeah, that's all I'm saying is just like, are the costs justified? The cost, if there's more $60,000 to work, then by all means. But without knowing the
That's
cost.
all the materials, well, South Suburban has expenses of $1,078,120,000 for salaries and benefits and supplies. And then that didn't take into like all the equipment that ABC owns. It's their equipment, so they've invested in that, whereas, you know.
But they invested in that in order to deliver their services.
Right.
That has nothing to do with it.
But it's not something we're paying for, I'm just saying the
But
others
they
spend
could
more.
use that equipment for all their other cleaning things too. So
Oh, no, it stays here, yeah, it stays here, right, it's equipment for this, specific for here. So, you know, that was $1,078,000, whereas ours is $720,000. And
So
then,
does that million, what does that million cover? Supplies, employees?
Everything that they do here.
It's a very different situation because they have employees.
Right,
And when you have employees, and I understand it, and everything you're saying makes sense, but it doesn't make sense not to bid a contract this size, I'm sorry.
The
My
other,
experience is, we need to do that, we're a public body, and we need to make sure that there's value shown on everything that we do. And this particular contract is, even when I was in the board originally, you know, we had this contract. This is time to go to bid, I'm sorry. I just feel that we need to be more judicious about this.
the one thing I just wanted to throw in there, which is a very, very small piece, is being that we're an open campus and we really have no way of controlling who's coming and going. You know, you get some of these big companies, like you said, you know all the ladies that are down there. You know, you could see new faces every 2 weeks. And just because they have a thing on, you don't know who they are.
I personally wouldn't want to air that if we get a new bid or a new company. I wouldn't want the mindset to automatically be, well, we may be getting a bad company. I mean, I would like to just see what's out there. If the company's not quality, then by all means, we have a fine circle down there. We have a fine connection with ABC. but it's just good to see, just to have the knowledge, and it helps with
We
transparency.
would have to go back out to bid again, though. We couldn't then just go back to ABC.
Yeah, when you go out.
I just think that,
Be welcome to bid, of course.
That's right, yes.
They would have a leg up in a sense,
I just
because
think
they
I
know
have
us.
a question pertaining to South Suburban College, with it being over $1 million. Is this something that, is this company with them for a while also, or no?
No, ABC is not gonna them.
No,
No,
I'm talking about
because-
at South Suburban College. where
How long have they been with South Suburban?
I mean, are they sending this out for bid or just?
No, this is their employees.
Oh, they're
okay.
employees
All right,
in the clean.
understood.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
They're
okay, so
employees.
it's
Yeah,
a
there's
very
not,
different.
there's not
It's a
another,
different.
there's not another community college that's like similar to us in size that has the outside, that does a contract. They have employees, Kankakee has employees.
So we're just kind of unique that we have outside cleaners.
Well, there are others who have contracts, but I mean, I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm sure there are other institutions that do it this way as well. And they do it for saving on benefits and, all the other things that you have when you have permanent employees.
I do have a question, because it does state in here, and Dr. Sagan, maybe this is for you, that the monthly contract is $60,000 a month. But having gone back, and even in this packet now, you see that it is never $60,000. It is always over at least $800 up to several $1,000s over $60,000. What is that? Why is that?
If there are special projects over beyond the scope of this contract, then we would pay the extra for it. But the contract used to be for more than $720,000. They lowered the price over the past couple of years. $720, I think it used to be $726, so $730,000 back in 2012, 2011. But if the bid documents state the scope of the project, and if there's something over and beyond it, and they're asked to clean, that they normally wouldn't, then we would pay them extra.
Would that be like after a construction project or something like
Yeah,
that?
after a construction project or after moving out of a room that's used for.
And that's not in the bid, right?
That's not in the.
So if hypothetically we went out to bid and it wasn't in the bid, and the company a new company is here, whoever it is, called 123 Cleaning, and we said, all right, can you clean up this construction project?
It's extra also.
Well, but they could say no. They could say it's not in our bid, we're not hired to do that.
And they would be corrected.
Right,
And you
right.
can go out and find another company to do that one particular thing, right?
Or you can just put in a contract where there's a cap on how much can be charged outside of what their general contract is.
That all could be written into a bid. I mean, that's-
So is there a cap written into the contract about special projects?
Yes, it indicates anything over and beyond the scope in the bid documents that it would be additional costs.
But is there a cap on
Oh,
what
cap, I'm sorry.
what the additional costs
No.
could, there's no way that we can,
There's no
cap that, 'cause
particular
it's-
cap, no. The thing is, they do an excellent job and they're very thorough and, we've got so many other challenges here too, and, in this college, to build this college and to take a risk on something like this, I think is not prudent at this time.
in 10 years, I mean, I just, and I'm done after this, $750,000 and 10 years, I just don't think that being prudent with taxpayer dollars, I mean, it's been shown throughout this, we've done it before. I just think that we have to be prudent with taxpayer dollars, and I don't think we have been. I mean, this ought to go out. I mean, that's in the business of risk. I mean, students come here, a lot of them don't graduate. A lot of them take out loans. They're taking risk. And I just think that, I mean, it just,
Madam Secretary. Does anyone have anything else? I'm sorry. Okay.
Trustee Donahue,
Nay.
trustee Doyle,
Nay.
trustee Hill Corley, trustee Mosby,
nay.
trustee Wiley,
Aye.
trustee Johnson,
Okay.
and I say aye.
I say aye.